Good morning, dear students. Welcome to yet another class of second semester economics, that is microeconomics, and we are dealing in third module. And today's topic is price consumption curve and derivation of demand curve. Price consumption curve and derivation of demand curve. In our previous class, yesterday, we studied about income consumption curve that showed how changes in the income of the consumer he moved higher levels, higher in and to new budget line. If there is no changes in the price of commodities, of course the budget line shift towards right. For your quick reference, might be remembering this. These are the new budget lines, and the consumer is in equilibrium where indifference curve meets with budget line, right? AB, A1, B1. These are the budget lines. So the consumer is in equilibrium where at the point where the indifference curve is tangent to the budget line. So the curve that connects this equilibrium points, successive equilibrium points, is known as income consumption curve. This is also known as the expansion path. The same way, today we are going to deal with the price consumption curve. That means when price of a particular commodity changes, what happened to the consumption of that particular commodity? That's what we are going to discuss today. When the price of a particular commodity changes, the price may increase or the price may fall. If the price increases, he will be able to buy less of that commodity. And if the price decreases, then he will be able to buy more of that commodity. And we are going to check this scenario with the help of price consumption curve. And at the end, we will try to derive the demand curve, the famous demand curve from price consumption curve. So this is the price consumption curve. I will explain in detail how price consumption curve is derived. Okay, this is y-axis, and we measure good y, quantity of good y purchased. And here this is x-axis and good x. We measure the quantity of good x. This is here, right? And you could see we have a budget line, the initial budget line. The initial budget line is AB. The initial budget line is AB. That shows that if the consumer spend his entire income to purchase commodity Y or good Y, he can buy up to OA unit of Y. And if the consumer spend all his money income to purchase commodity X or good X, then he will able to buy only OB unit of this OB unit of commodity X. So this the line which connect A and B points, that is the budget line. So either the consumer can buy OA unit of OB, for example, uh, units of Y. Okay, so that is the various combinations of good basics of the budget line, and that you have studied in detail. And imagine that there is a change in the price of good Y. There is no change in the price of good Y. So price of good Y remains constant. There is no change. There is no change. Price of good Y is constant. That means there is no change in the price of good Y. But the price of good X changes. The price of good X changes. So the price of good X changes. It can change means it can go up. The price may go up or price may come down. Here, what happens is that the price of X has come down. So automatically, what will happen if the price comes down? Then what happens is that he will be able to purchase more quantity of X. There is no doubt. Since the price of commodity X comes down, then he will be able to purchase more quantity of X. For example, the consumer is having rupees 40 as his income, and imagine that the price is rupees 5 X. So one unit of X. So one unit of X, he needs to pay rupees 5. So this is price of X. Then how many units he can buy? That is 40 by 5. So he will be able to buy 8 unit. Imagine that the price comes down to rupees 4. The price has comes down. So he will be able to buy 10 units of good X. 40 by 4. He will be able to buy 10 units of good X. So when the price of good X comes down, then he will be able to buy more. So, but can he increase the quantity that he usually buy of good Y? No, he cannot increase the quantity of good Y because there is no change in the price of good Y and there is no change in the income. So he will be buying the same unit of good Y if he spend all his income on good Y. That is OA. So with the fall in the price, that means when the price falls, then the consumer get a chance to buy more good of X. That means his real income increases. So with that real income, he will be able to buy more of good X. So when the price of good X decreases, then the new budget line is shown like this. that is AB1. So this is the new budget line. And if the price of X again decreases, if the price of X again falls, then the consumer will be able to buy more of good X. So again, the budget line will shift like this. So this is a B2. So that is shown in that diagram, right? You can see. So this is the movement of the price line or the budget line from OB or AB to AB1 and from AB1 to AB2. Um, Indifference curve shows high level fraction. Curves are C. Okay. So sorry. Okay. So these are the indifference curve. That is IC1, IC2, and IC3. So these are the indifference curves. So higher indifference curve shows the higher level of satisfaction, right? And see, I can see that the budget line AB at point P, at point P, the indifference curve IC1 is tangent to budget line AB, budget line AB, and the equilibrium point is P, and the commodity of Y purchased is ON, and the commodity of or the quantity of X purchased is OM. So this much unit of X, so Y, and this much unit of X he has purchased. That is, he purchased OM unit of good X. And see what happens when the price of X decreases. Then the consumer moves to a higher equilibrium point, another equilibrium point called P1, where the consumer is in equilibrium at P2, right? This is okay, P1. This point is P1, where the indifference curve IC2 is tangent to the budget line AB1. So then let us see what happens. Let us see what happens, right? See, before the consumer was buying OM. After the change or fall in the price of X, the budget line shifts to AB1. And in the new equilibrium point, the consumer is buying OM1, which is greater than OM, the previous quantity he has purchased. The same way, when the price of the good X decreases, the consumer moves to another equilibrium point called P2, where he is buying OM2 unit of good X, which is greater than OM1 and OM. So that shows that the consumer moves to different levels of equilibrium, where he is buying more unit of commodity X and less unit of commodity Y. So the curve which connect all these equilibrium points, that is P, P1, P2. So if we draw a curve joining all these points like we did in the income consumption curve, we get a downward sloping curve that is known as price consumption curve. This may be the slope may be different, but here now we could see it's a downward slope. So this is known as the price consumption curve. So um, uh, this is how the consumer move from one different levels of consumption of good X when the price of good X decreases. So from this, we can derive our demand curve, that is the demand curve which shows the be purchased uh, uh, curve using the price consumption curve. So that is shown in this diagram. Okay. So the only change here is that on y-axis, we measure the money income of the consumer, and on x-axis we measured the quantity purchased of good X. Good X. This is a panel of the diagram. And when we come to panel B, on the y-axis, we measure price, and on the x-axis, we measure quantity demanded of good X, quantity demanded of good X. Here, what you could see is that the price line, that is OA. So OA is if the consumer spend all his money on good Y, he will be able to buy OA. And if the consumer spend all his income on good X, then he will be able to buy OB, OB unit of good X. So AB is the price line. Like the diagram we have seen just before, AB, AB1, AB2 shows the different price lines, and the shift in the price line is due to the changes in the price of good X. Here we can see that the prices of good X has come down. The prices of good X has come down. That's why the budget line shift from OB to OB1 and further to OB2. And the consumer is in equilibrium at different points, P1, P2, where the indifference curve is tangent. The indifference curve is tangent to price line or the budget line. So connecting all those points, we get the price consumption curve. Price consumption curve. Okay. Now let us see how we can derive demand curve using the price consumption curve. So for that, we have to move to panel B of the diagram. And here what we are doing is that we are just extending this line, equilibrium quantity purchase line, to x-axis. Okay. So we are just extending. You can see the dotted diagram. We are just extending those lines to x-axis. Okay, and as in the case, just imagine that the price, uh, okay, the income of the consumer is only 40, and the prices are uh, rupees rupees 5. The price comes to 4, then again price come to 6. Okay, this all in the, when the price is rupees 5, then he will be by 8 unit of commodity X. And when the income falls to 4, he will be able to buy 10 units of commodity X. And when again the price of X falls to 2.6, he will be able to buy 15 units of good X. So these are the prices on y-axis. We measure prices 5, 4, 2.6. So these are the prices, and these are the quantities, right? They are 8, 10, 15. So OM means 8 unit. OM means 8 unit. OM1 means 10 units, and OM2 means 15 units. So these are the corresponding points, that is Q, R, S. These are the corresponding points, Q, R, S. So at that point Q, the price is 5 and the quantity purchased is 8, or OM. So how we reach at this point? Because we simply extend a line from this M, or this PM line to x-axis. So what you could see is that as the budget line shift to right, showing that the prices of that commodity X has come down. That is shown in this y-axis, and see, you could see the increases in the quantity of good X purchased, and that we can also see here the quantity of good X purchased increased from OM2, OM1, and OM2, and the statistical examples that I have given, that the income of the consumer is 40 and the price of the product has come down, so the consumer will be able to more of the same commodity, and so we derived demand curve, that is DD using the price consumption curve. What we did just extend this PM1 line, P1 M1 line, and P2 M2 lines to the x-axis, and this we got these points Q, R, S corresponding to various levels of quantity and prices. So when we connect all those points, then we get demand curve DD, and the demand curve is a downward sloping curve shows that when the price increases, less will be demanded, and when the price comes down, when the price comes down from 5 to 2.6, the quantity demanded increased from 8 to 15. So this is how uh, we can derive demand curve from the price consumption curve. Okay, that's all about today's lecture. And if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. Thank you.